Hello everyone. Today's my topic is on smell sensation and that is a part of special senses. Now chemical sense organ is an organ which responds to chemical stimulus. Now olfaction and taste sensation that are classical chemical senses and the sense organ concerned for their detection. These are nasal epithelium and taste buds respectively. Now taste and smell both are chemical sense and to some extent that are mutually complementary to each other. So if the olfactory sense that is temporarily lost as during the attack of common cold, there is a deterioration of the taste sensation as well as in such state a pear and apple may taste closely alike. Now the term flavor that is very commonly used in connection with the food and drinks, and flavor is the combined effect of taste and smell. Olfactory receptor, vomeronasal organ and pheromones, olfactory pathway, olfactory transduction and classification of odor and threshold for olfactory sensation, adaptation, and lastly we will discuss about the applied physiology of olfaction. In general, the brain receives the information outside the body surface through five sense organs: nose, tongue, ear, eye and skin. Now this sensibility can be classified into two main categories: general and special senses. Differences between the general sensibility and special sensibility. In general sensibility, its receptors are located throughout the body. Example include touch, pain, pressure and temperature sensibility. And the receptors get easily stimulated by different stimuli. However, they respond maximally to an adequate stimulus. And the receptor's response is non-specific to different stimuli. Now in special sensibility, its receptors are located at one place, especially in the head, and that are very close to nervous system and are well protected within the skull. For example, smell, taste, hearing and vision. And the receptor for special senses, they are specialized and respond only to one type of the stimulus. And the receptor's response is more complex and makes coordination within the central nervous system. Now the sense of the smell is also known as olfaction and it is classified under visceral sense because of its close association with the gastrointestinal function. And the receptor for the smell are chemoreceptors and are that are located in the olfactory mucosa of nasal epithelium. Now what is macrosmatic and what is microsmatic? So now the sense of the smell or olfaction that is well developed in animals like dog and rabbit that gives warning of the environmental dangers. And such animals are known as macrosmatics. Now in animals, this primitive sense is well developed and it is useful for them to locate their mates, friends or foes and for the identification of territories. Now the total surface area of the olfactory mucous membrane of the male, that is very small. In macrosmatic animals like dog, it is proportionately much larger so that the olfactory ability of the dog is more due to presence of larger olfactory area and larger number of the receptor cells and olfactory neurons. So, because of that, the dogs they are used by detective department of the police squad to track the criminals. The sense of the smell it is comparatively less developed, but still it is important for the pleasure and for enjoying the taste of food. Therefore, the humans and primates are called microsmatics. In humans, it increases the quality of the food by recognizing its flavor and enhances the social emotional interaction by odor of perfumes, deodorants and the fragrance of the flowers and enriches the memories. It also has some protective function in guiding us to avoid stale food or to go away from the polluted environment. The olfactory system is the only sensory system that does not relay in the thalamus on its way to cortex, and the olfactory system has asymmetric cortical representation. Now site of olfaction. So olfactory stimuli are detected by specialized receptors located on the free nerve endings of the olfactory nerves and which are located in the olfactory mucosa of nose in the human beings and vomeronasal organ in reptiles and certain mammals. Now olfactory epithelium. So olfactory receptor cells are located in a specialized area of the nasal mucosa lining the roof of nasal cavity. That is known as olfactory epithelium or olfactory mucous membrane. Olfactory mucosa that is confined to upper one third of nasal cavity. So here that is a olfactory mucous membrane. This one is a olfactory bulb. This one is a olfactory tract and these three superior, middle and inferior turbinate or concha. And this is a cribriform plate of ethmoid bone. Now that includes the roof of the nasal cavity and adjoining areas on the medial wall and superior nasal concha on the lateral wall. And the olfactory neuroepithelium is a patch of thin and dull yellow mucosa about 2.5 cm square in the area and the mucus layer that covers the entire epithelium. Figure of olfactory epithelium. This portion is a lamina propria. Now this one is a olfactory receptor cells. This one is a basal cell And in between the olfactory receptor cells, there is a supporting cell or sustentacular cells. And here, these are the thread-like structures is a cilia. And these are a odorant molecules. This is another figure of olfactory epithelium. Now, histologically, the olfactory mucosa consists of three types of the cells. Olfactory receptor cell, supporting or sustentacular cell, and basal cell. First of all, about receptor cell. About 10 to 20 million receptor cells are present in the olfactory mucosa. And these cells are bipolar neurons which lie between the supporting cells. Then there are certain characteristic features of olfactory receptor cells that differentiate it from the other sensory neurons. So olfactory receptor cells, these are only the sensory neurons whose cell body that are closest to the external environment, and these cells have a short lifespan of about 60 days and get replaced by proliferation of the basal cells. And this natural turnover is a unique feature of this sensory neuron. Now second cell is supporting cell or sustentacular cells, and that is a columnar in shape. Microvilli that extend from the surface of these cells into the mucus layer covering the olfactory mucosa. And this cell that secrete the mucus, and the Bowman's gland lying just under the basement membrane that also secrete mucus. Third cell is the basal cells from which the new receptor cells are formed. And as mentioned above, there is a continuous replacement of the receptor cells by mitosis of basal cells. Now distinguish features of the olfactory mucosa from the surrounding respiratory mucosa of nasal cavity are presence of receptor cells, presence of Bowman's gland, and absence of the rhythmic ciliary beating. And that is a characteristic feature of respiratory mucosa. And in olfactory mucosa, there is a presence of the distinctive yellow-brown pigment. Then the nerve supply of the olfactory mucosa. Special sensory nerves innervating the olfactory mucosa are 50 to 20 bundles of olfactory nerve fibers that convey the sense of smell. Now the general sensory nerves supplying the olfactory mucosa are the branches of trigeminal nerve, fifth cranial nerve. The irritative character of the some odorants that results from the stimulation of the free nerve endings of the trigeminal nerve. Therefore, the vapors of the ammonia are never used to taste the sense of the smell because they stimulate the fibers of the trigeminal nerve, and that causes irritation in the nose rather than stimulating the olfactory receptors. Then comes to the vomeronasal organ. So this one is a vomeronasal organ. Now that is a accessory olfactory organ that is found in many animals including mammals. This organ was discovered in 1813 by Danish physician Ludwig Jacobson, so that it is known as Jacobson organ. It is a pouch-like structure found along the nasal septum in the nose of some animals like rodents and various other animals. Receptors present in the vomeronasal organ that are concerned with the perception of odor that emanates from the pheromones and foodstuffs, and are so related to the food and sex behavior of the animals. Now fibers emerging from the vomeronasal organ project to the accessory olfactory bulb, and from those primarily to areas in the amygdala and hypothalamus that are concerned with the reproduction and eating behavior. The vomeronasal organ is not well developed in humans, but there is an anatomically separate and biochemically unique area of the olfactory mucous membrane in a pit in the anterior third of the nasal septum, which appears to be homologous structure. Pheromones. These are a hormone-like substances which emit the specific odor and produce hormonal, behavioral or other physiological changes in another animal of the same species. Usually, a pheromone is secreted by animal during the mating season only. The smell of the pheromones is the cause of the sex, which an animal follows to find out its mating partner, which may be waiting at a distance. It is being assumed that the pheromones also exist in humans and that there is a close relationship between the smell and sexual function. So pheromones are a group of the chemical substance that are secreted by apocrine glands. Some scientists call this substance as a vomeropharynx. When secreted into the environment by an organism, pheromones produce some behavior or physiological changes in other membranes of the same species. Pheromones are mostly present in the urine, vaginal fluid and other secretion of the mammals and influence the behavior and reproductive cycle in these animals. Details of the pheromones in lower animals are well documented, but in humans the pheromones are not fully studied. But recently it is found that the pheromones excreted in the axilla of the woman that affects the menstrual cycle of her roommate or other woman living with her. And these substances stimulate the receptors of vomeronasal organ. Now the vomeronasal receptors are distinct from the other olfactory receptors and detect specially the odor of pheromones. Impulses from these receptors are transmitted to the hypothalamus, which influences the menstrual cycle via the pituitary gonadal axis. And this effect of the pheromones on the menstrual cycle of other individual is called dormitory effect. Now, it appears that there is a strong bond between the mother and her baby is due to smell emitted by the mother to which the baby is routinely exposed during the suckling, and that causes a emotional tie between the mother and baby which is retained lifelong. Now we comes to the physiology of olfaction. So odoriferous stimuli that enter the nasal cavity while breathing. Now during the quiet breathing, the air passes through the lower parts of the nasal cavity. Now through the eddy currents. However, the some air does reach the olfactory epithelium. Now during the quiet breathing, the mainstream of the inspired air does not reach the olfactory epithelium as it lies above. But the some air does move up by convection current and reach the olfactory epithelium. The amount of the air reaching the olfactory mucosa can be increased by sniffing, and which causes a turbulence in the airflow in the nasal cavity. So sniffing, that is an act of deep breathing or semi-reflex response which occurs when the new odor is encountered. The odorant molecules must dissolve in mucus layer lining the olfactory mucosa before they can come in contact with the olfactory receptor. Now there are certain characteristic features of the odorant molecules. So odorant molecules must be volatile because the olfactory receptors respond to chemicals transported by the air into the nose. And odorant molecules must be water soluble to some extent to penetrate the watery mucus layer to reach the receptor cell membrane. And odorant molecules must be lipid soluble to some degree to penetrate the cell membranes of the olfactory receptor cells to stimulate those cells. Now types of the odorant stimuli. There seems to be over 50 primary smell sensation. Now in contrast, there are 3 primary color sensation and 5 primary sensation of taste. Although the olfactory capability of the human is somewhat limited compared with that of the macroscopic animals. Humans are able to perceive more than 10,000 different odorous molecules. Common odors encountered are named as aromatic or resinous odor, for example, camphor, lavender, and cloves. Then fragrant odors, for example, perfumes and flowers. Then ethereal odors, for example, ether and chloroform. Garlic odor, for example, garlic, onion, and sulfur compounds. Burning odors, tobacco, burning of feathers, meat and bones. Nauseating odor, for example, decomposed meat and vegetables. Goat odors, for example, sweat and ripe cheese. Then repulsive odors, for example, odor of the bed bug. Then musky odors, for example, musk. Now olfactory cells are the receptor cells for the smell sensation. They are actually a bipolar nerve cells that derived originally from the central nervous system. And there are about 100 millions of these cells in the olfactory epithelium, interspersed among the sustentacular cells. Olfactory receptor cells, they are interspersed among the sustentacular cells. These are a olfactory receptor cells and these are a supporting cells. Now the mucosal end of the olfactory cells that forms a knob-like structure from which 4 to 25 olfactory hairs, that is known as olfactory cilia, measuring about 0.3 micrometer in diameter and up to 200 micrometer in length, project into the mucus that coats the inner surface of the nasal cavity. These projecting olfactory cilia form a dense mat in the mucus, and it is this cilia that react to odors in the air and stimulate the olfactory cells. Spaced among the olfactory cells in the olfactory membrane are many small Bowman's glands that also secrete mucus onto the surface of the olfactory mucous membrane. Now, what is the mechanism of stimulation of the olfactory cells? Now, the portion of the each olfactory cells that respond to olfactory chemical stimuli is the olfactory cilia. Now, odorant substance. that comes in contact with the olfactory membrane surface first diffuses into the mucus that covers the cilia, and then it binds with the receptor protein in the membrane of each cilium. Each receptor protein, that is actually a long molecule that threads its way through the membrane about 7 times, folding inward and outward. Now the odorant binds with the portion of the receptor protein that folds to the outside. The inside of the folding protein is coupled to G protein. That itself is a combination of the three subunits alpha, beta and gamma. Upon excitation or stimulation of the receptor protein, the alpha subunits that breaks away from the G protein and activates the adenyl cyclase, which is attached to the inside of the ciliary membrane near the receptor cell body. Now activated cyclase in turn that converts many molecules of adenosine triphosphate into cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Finally, the cyclic AMP that activates another nearby membrane protein, a gated sodium ion channel that opens its gate and allows a large number of the sodium ion to pour through the membrane into the receptor cell cytoplasm. Now the sodium ion that increases the electrical potential in the positive direction inside the cell membrane so that exciting the olfactory neuron and transmitting the axon potential into the central nervous system by the way of olfactory nerve. The importance of this mechanism for activating olfactory nerve is that it greatly multiplies the excitatory effect of even the weakest odor. So in short, first of all, activation of receptor protein by the odorant substance activates the G protein complex, which in turn activates the multiple molecules of adenyl cyclase inside the olfactory cell membrane, which causes the formation of many more molecules of cyclic AMP, and finally the cyclic AMP opens a more sodium ion. Therefore, even a minute concentration of specific odorant that initiates a cascading effect that opens a large number of the sodium channels. And this process accounts for the sensitivity of the olfactory neurons to even the slightest amount of odorant. So, summary of the olfactory signal transduction. Sum of odorant molecules that binds with the odorant receptors and binding of the odorant and receptor complex that binds with the G protein, and then there is a alpha subunit that breaks away from the G protein and then activates the adenyl cyclase, and that activated adenyl cyclase that causes a formation of cyclic AMP from the ATP, and this cyclic AMP that activates the sodium channel and opens the gate of sodium channel. So there is a sodium influx and that causes a depolarization of the cell and exciting the olfactory neuron and then transmitting the axon potential to the central nervous system. Now most odorant that causes a depolarization of the olfactory cell membrane and decreasing the negative potential in the cell from the normal level of minus 55 millivolts to minus 30 millivolts or less. That is changing the voltage in a positive direction. Along with this, the number of the action potential increases to 20 to 30 per second, which is the high rate for the minute olfactory nerve fibers.